What's up, everybody? So in today's video, we are going to be installing coilover suspension on a Honda S2000. And if you guys haven't checked out this build, the Bruised Banana S2000 build, formerly Supercar Suspects S2000, check it out. I'll link above and you guys can check out all the videos. So I'll link that up above where you guys can check out all those different videos. And let's go ahead and I'll show you guys what suspension we're putting in this thing, because right now it's a monster truck. So let me flip this around and we'll show you. All right, so here's the suspension that we got, and I got it for pretty cheap. And we'll run it for now. The spring rates are 10K in the front and 8K in the back, and they have adjustable ride height from these collars, so you can make the actual shock longer or shorter from spinning this and putting this locking collar, but you don't mess with your preload. So that's why these are good. Then we also have our adjustable clickers at the top for the dampening also. So these are gonna do just great for now. And then as we get more into the track stuff, we can get either better coilovers or switch all the springs out to 12K, which the owner of these wheels, Brandon, actually, previous owner of the wheels, he actually was running Buddy Club N Pluses with the 12K springs before, and he set a bunch of lap records. So we should be fine that way and get our feet wet into this tracking stuff, and then we can just upgrade as we go. Anyways, I'm gonna swap these two. I'm gonna put the S2000 here, Viper over there, and then we can lift it up, pop the wheels off, and get started. So I have the coilovers on the bench right now, and I just want to show you guys something because I'm just adjusting them before we actually put them on the car. So whoever previously installed them or had them set up, if I line up the tops here, you'll see that at least on the front, the springs are relatively lined up, right? So the preload on the spring is matched left to right, passenger to driver. But I just finished adjusting this one because these are the rears of the shorter ones. This was way loose, and the spring was actually just loose there. There was no preload on the one spring on the one side. So I matched it for now. I know you guys can go ahead and, get fancy with corner weight balancing and stuff like that, where they might put a little bit more preload on one spring than the other. But the overall length, it shouldn't change unless you're trying to set up a NASCAR type setup. But you'll notice here, again, if I butt these two shocks up like this, or coilovers, so they're the same at the top, right? So they're lined up here, but then you come down here, boom, they're off about half an inch or so, half an inch or more. So that means the car would technically sit like this. Same thing if you look at the fronts. So again, we're lined up at the top here, right? And you come down here, like, look at the difference in length. It's like maybe even more, like 3/4 of an inch to an inch on this side. It's pretty bad. Like, look right there, that difference, or even right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and match them so that the car actually sits level. Like I said, you could get into some fancy corner weight balancing type scenarios, but I definitely don't think you'd be adjusting the height of the actual shock. You'd probably be adjusting the preload, not the actual length of the body. So something weird is going on here. Anyways, I'm gonna crank this up to match them. Like I said, I'm in the process of doing this, so I loosened off this collar, and I'm going to spin the body of this shock like this, so that will shorten the overall length of the shock, which effectively lowers the car. So we'll do the same on both, match them up, then we can start ripping out the old stuff. So check this out, it's literally an inch off on the one side. That is just insane. And these are the front shocks, so it is an inch longer on this side, because this is what I just measured from here to here. And these are, you really want to measure from the top, like the top hat, to the bottom. But if your spring preload is the same, like the distance from here to here is the same on both, then you can match them up from here to here. And like I said, the distance is that much, so I have to crank this and tighten this, make this shock effectively shorter by that much. This is just nuts that you could even go down the road like that. It would probably handle absolutely terrible. So let me go ahead and measure this up, finish it up, and we can continue. All right, so we do have one front passenger side strut out, and I'll show you guys how easy it is to take out on these cars. I just took out one just so I remember how to take it off because it's been a while. But what you're gonna do is there's gonna be the 2 bolts on the top. They're 14 mil heads. Take those off. Then these 2 bolts here, 17 mil bolt here and here that hold on the upper control arm. So you just take out those 2 bolts and then just one more 17 on the bottom control arm. And then that's it. You pull this out so you can get the shock out and it drops out the bottom like so. And then the rear is even easier. There's just a 17 mil bolt that goes straight in here. And then after that, it is just held in from the trunk. Same thing, there's gonna be 2 14 mil bolts inside, but I have to bring the car back down because I can't reach over the car or be that high. So I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this one, take this one off. I just started it, but I wanna show you guys the process. So it's got a welded in nut on the factory ones. We're gonna have to put a nut on the other ones on the backside. There's no welded nut. And I have to remove all this. So I loosened all the bolts here. So again, take these 2 17s out. Take out the 17 down here, which I pretty much have out at this point. I think I can probably wiggle it out. Then you're gonna take this one out. And I already have these loosened off. So we're gonna loosen these. I think I cracked them loose. Yeah, they're still loose. And yeah, we'll just take it out. So let me set this camera down and show you how simple it is. And then we can lower the car to get to those bolts in the trunk. And out it comes, as simple as that. We'll finish removing the 17 mil bolt down here. So here we are inside the trunk, and here's the bolts. So normally you would definitely have a lot of interior flappy gloves, but you'd have a lot of interior here. You would have to take out this panel, take out your spare tire, and then you would get at these bolts here. So there's a 14 mil here and a 14 mil there. These ones are a little bit more tricky. So what you want to do is you'll see a bolt here, which I just removed. It's a 10 mil head bolt. And this allows you to move the fuel filler neck a little bit. It gives you a little bit extra room. So you definitely have to get a swivel joint in there, but same thing. There's a 14 down in there. So you have to get those 2. But again, remove that bolt. That I'm telling you, it'll make your life easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those 14s out. And then these shocks should be able to drop out. So we got both 14 mils removed, so this should go ahead and pop out just like so. So the back is definitely real easy. So we got the 3 of them out. Like I said, this is gonna be a little bit harder to get to, but with some swivel joints and whatnot, we'll get it and get it removed. Okay, so that should be free, which it is. So all the stock junk is out. And actually, I shouldn't say junk. These are actually really good stock suspension. They have remote reservoir, and it's a lot of people argue it's pretty hard to beat, but fortunately, I don't really like the look, and I want more adjustability. These should be at least on par. Ooh, these gloves are getting even worse. Should be at least on par with the Buddy Club. And now that we got all that stuff out, let's go ahead and put the new stuff back in. So since we have the car down, I'm gonna grab the rears, put them in, finish these bolts, and then we can go back up with the car. Okay, hardest one is out of the way. It's all downhill from here. Gloves just keep getting worse. So we'll grab this, shove this one in, pop it in, and we can raise the car. So the rear is now on. I just have to go ahead and find nuts like I was mentioning. Nuts are welded on here, so I'm gonna have to rummage through some stuff. Might even have to go pick up some from the store, but at least this is on. Go ahead and move to the front now. Should be very simple, you guys. We'll shove the shock in, put the 2 top bolts on, put the bottom bolt on, and then put our control arm back on, and that's pretty much it. So everything on this side is now tightened, and we found just a nut for the bottom for now. I'm gonna go ahead and get some different ones later, but anyways, everything's tight. We can move on to the driver's side. So everything's on, everything's tight, all the suspension, And like I mentioned, I'm gonna paint the center of this just black with some cheap 8-minute Krylon rust protector. I'm not gonna be too crazy or fancy with it, just some kind of something to make it a little bit better. I mean, this shouldn't really be a big deal. Let's give it some squirts. Same thing with back here. Even if it comes off, you guys are probably on the same page with me, I hope. It's nothing, doesn't have to be anything too fancy, but just make it look better in the middle. Now, hopefully the fun part, we're gonna put the wheels back on the car and we'll lower the car down. Definitely gonna have to use some of this wood because there's no way we're getting those arms out. I barely got them on or underneath the car with stock suspension. So we'll put it down. I went based on, I saw pictures of the car, the previous owner of the suspensions car before, and it looked to be pretty close, even though the settings seem to be a little bit off. So I really don't know where it's gonna land. Hopefully it'll be somewhat close and we can adjust it after. But yeah, we'll find out once we get the wheels on. Let's go. All right, so there's where we are at currently, and not the best judgment because I have 2 pieces of wood in the front, and one's a 2x6, the other one's like a 2x2 maybe, and then I only have 1 in the back, so you're not getting the best impression on how it sits, but I still have to do some work on it, and I got to put it back up, and I don't feel like taking it on and taking it off right now. So and also it's gonna settle, so I'm gonna probably, once I'm finished doing all the other stuff that I need to do, we'll take it off, and here you can kind of get an idea of just how much wood it's sitting on. But I think as far as the fender gap, I'm not trying to do like the whole like hella flush, super low look on this thing because it has to be functional. We're gonna go to the track. I don't want the fenders to be touching the wheels. Mind you, I want it to look good, but I don't want it to be too close to the point where it's always rubbing. So I think this is gonna be pretty close to where we want it. I'm guessing it's gonna settle. I pretty much know it's gonna settle. And also we're sitting on some weird wood right now, so it's probably gonna go down a little bit more. But I think we're pretty close, you guys, to where it needs to be. And of course we'll adjust it later. But like I was mentioning, I still have to do some stuff. I need to do a valve adjustment. So that's probably what we'll do next, is do the valve adjustment, not in today's video, but on the next video. And then once that is all good and I'm happy with that, we got to change the oil, check the rear diff fluid, see what the history is on that. Probably just change it since it's pretty easy to change. And we can start dialing this thing in. So I'm hoping we can try to get to the track pretty soon. As far as the way things are fitting, this is pretty much, I'm really happy with how the wheels are fitting with these fenders. So again, we'll probably add a little bit more camber, but this looks like it's gonna be a pretty good fit with everything. It's pretty flushed out. You can see the back is like perfect. It's not too wide, too crazy, but at the same time, we can definitely fit some rubber back there. And that's what we're trying to do. The problem with S2000s in the front is for whatever reason, there's less room in the front. You have to run a higher offset to be able to utilize a wide tire. So these are a 17 by 10 plus 38 rim, and it's a 255 tire, and we're pretty much flushed out. So the rim is wide enough to accept a bigger tire, but if we put a bigger tire, it's probably gonna be chewing at these fenders. So, but I think 255 should be enough meat for this, and I wanna keep the cost down, the operating cost at least for now. And the 255 tire is plenty for what I'm gonna be doing initially. And if we end up stepping things up a notch and really getting serious, then we can always change the wheels or do whatever we need to do. But I am extremely happy with how this is turning out, you guys. But let's wrap this video up. Anyways, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. And if it's your first time stopping into the channel, check out the other videos on this channel. We have the full build on this car, from it falling off the lift all the way to the way you see it now, and it's come a long way. So also we have the full Viper build, and we also had a supercharged Ram build on here. But consider subscribing, check everything else out, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.